Hey guys, this is Market Update. Crypto seems really tired here. There's just no narratives to trade. There's no reason why it's going to drop 50% in the next 6 weeks. There's no reason why it's going to go up 50% in the next 6 weeks. Yes, the Fed's cutting interest rates, they're stopping QT. Everyone knows that. And on the margin, it's not really a massive deal. I'll show you some data in a second. The economy is not doing too well. And a lot of us, most of the buyers of crypto, the economy is not in a massive expansion phase. People don't feel flush with money. And we're still the buyers of it. I'll show you data around that in a second as well. So look, Bitcoin is at trend. This is the realized price. The blue line right here is essentially you can say the market, this is the true market mean, which is an updated version of realized price. You can say that this is where the Bitcoin network is really trading at, right? Longer term investors. You can see we're at trend, right? Now, Bitcoin is not popular when it's at trend or below trend. It's a chicken and egg thing. Is Bitcoin popular because the price is high in bull markets, or is the price high because it's popular? Right. In any case, there's only really massive attention around crypto when it's in a bull market, significantly above the realized price. And that's because that gets news headlines and attention. So there's like a bear market in attention for crypto or news articles about it because nothing's really happening, right? There's nothing on the horizon that's going to change the outlook for crypto that much. And so you just get this lull or this period of and just not even weakness in the price. The price isn't weak. We're at 87K. It's just that there is a bear market in anticipation, right? And that's what it is. So look, if you're a long-term investor or you're buying Bitcoin to tuck away for a few years, when Bitcoin is around its realized price, it's typically very, very good value, right? And of course, underneath that, I would say that's a bear market, right? When you're underneath the realized price, that's a bear market for BTC, which is, again, typically very, very good prices for Bitcoin. But we're at trend. Look, we could go below. We might go higher. There's nothing really tradable, right? There's nothing happening, and that's why everyone's just, just getting kind of. It's a time-based capitulation at this point, right? All of the tradable events have happened. The massive flows from ETFs, winning the court case here, etc. That's done, and so we now have to look forward to a kind of different future for Bitcoin, where everyone that's wanted to buy it recently has. And so instead of saying, wow, Bitcoin's going to move 100% in the next 6 weeks, really the trade now is you can just kind of buy this along with your S&P buys in your 401k or your ISA or anything like that. And wait a few years, 5 years, 10 years, and you'll probably get a decent annual rate of return versus the S&P. But it's not going to move like 300% in the next 6 weeks because there is no real event that's going to do that, right? So slow and steady wins the race. And of course, people get very bored of it and time-based capitulation of traders. But there's nothing massively bullish or bearish that I can see happening. I think we're just going to rotate through. We're going to be fairly okay, fairly strong. We're at trend already, which is typically a decent time to buy, right? And so if we go a little bit below this, that's fine. But are we going to fall 80% from here? No, we're not, right? No one's going to blow up. Strategy aren't blowing up. Right, 3 Arrows, FTX, those guys are gone now, right? It's more traditional, it's more institutional. So that's, I think, capitulating a lot of traders. But Bitcoin's fine, right? And we're gonna keep moving forward. If you trade crypto, check out the Bybit deposit bonus down below. If you click that link, sign up, you'll get a deposit bonus to trade with. Anything you deposit, they'll give you a bonus all the way up to $30,000. Even the FUD in crypto now is just old recycled garbage. Like Tether FUD again, serious? We believed it the first time, right? But S&P Global last Wednesday slashed its rating on Tether's USDT. What rating, though? They're a private company. They don't raise debt. They actually buy debt. So I don't know what rating that is. If you look at their balance sheet, it's fine. It's absolutely fine, right? They're not going to collapse, right? We've been through this so many times, and they're recycling this. The strategy FUD, the carry trade FUD. We've been through all this so many times. You can't just keep recycling this. You've got to come with something new. So that's what I'm saying, right? Everyone's capitulating, right? Even people trying to talk about Bitcoin in a good or positive way or a negative way. It'd just be good to get something else to talk about because we're recycling all the old stuff. The issue, crypto sits in a transition period now where there were policies announced in the States. And so we traded the expectations of that. But those policies haven't actually come about yet. It's going to take a lot longer. And I think the market looking forward is going to be very different to what it has been in the past. So our generation, especially Bitcoin, has existed within this kind of post-2008 world, which is money printing at all costs. Just print from the central bank. The Trump admin is trying to completely change this, right? And so what they're trying to do is take the central bank out of it as much as they can and get other central banks to print the dollars, get actual economic activity to come back into the States. So all of that is a change, and we've had to try and trade that and price that in this year. And so we've tried to do that. However, that hasn't happened yet. And that happening is a lot longer in terms of its effects on the market versus money printing. Money printing is so easy. As soon as the market goes down, the Fed will print. Don't worry about it, it'll go up, right? That's not going to happen again, right? What we're seeing now is much slower, much steadier. The Trump admin's trying to actually get real GDP growth. That's going to take years and years, and it's going to be very choppy, and I think it's going to frustrate a lot of people, especially in crypto, which is so sensitive to this stuff. So look, this is energy consumption in yellow and debt to GDP in red. So as energy consumption rises, that is essentially an economic boom, right? You have more humans consuming more energy, more factories producing more energy, more products and services. That's an economic boom. And debt to GDP, in that instance, as GDP rises, can come down. That's good news for the government anyway. Fast forward to the modern era, post 2008, and what you've seen is energy consumption goes sideways. So there's no real growth, right? Now this happens in the UK as well. You can see this, right? I mean, in the UK, GDP is higher, but GDP per capita is the same as it was in 2008. So basically, the country's gone nowhere for almost 20 years. Energy prices are very high, which means all the manufacturing has left. So how is GDP higher? Well, GDP can be printed. In 2008, in the pandemic, 2020, they shut down the whole world and then just printed money and GDP went higher. So you can either do the work, literally, in the real world, to actually make more stuff and use more energy, or you can just print money. So we've been in the printing money game, and that has to change, right? The outcomes are terrible, right? They have been terrible. We are now living through the consequences of after 2008 when they said, all right, what we're going to do is just print money. We're going to print money, but you also have to give us massive state control as well. And so the states got bigger as they printed money, and the outcomes we are learning now are just awful, right? What you need is real productivity growth and energy consumption growth, which isn't happening yet. The Trump admin says they want to do that. This is a very long-term thing. It's going to be choppy. It's going to be slow because it's real activity. And of course, you've got the midterms where are they going to win? Are they going to lose? Because if they lose, then their policies basically can't get done anyway. So there's going to be a lot of chop over the next year or so, right? And you're going to have to wait for this to actually come through because it looks like the central bank doesn't really want to help out. Now, unfortunately, the central bank is going to have to help out at some point. But again, they can't get rid of Powell until the spring next year. So we're in this transition period where we can see what's ahead, but we don't know exactly how it's going to plan out. And so Bitcoin can be just super volatile in that environment. I mean, it can be 20, 30% from any price just based on sentiment, right? So that's the period we're in. But overall, Bitcoin's at trend or below trend. It's typically pretty good to buy it if you can, just wait for that uncertainty to eventually go away. Because the reality is, if you don't have energy consumption rising and real GDP growth, you have to print the money to force the GDP higher anyway. Otherwise, the whole debt-based system collapses. So patience is the key here with BTC. We know the end game, we just have to get through this. Another thing we found out this year is that Bitcoin is still small and it's not ready for the big leagues yet. So we're going up the ladder, right? It started out as this weird internet thing. There was a joke. Then it was, it's only used for buying illegal stuff. And then it was, actually some retail people actually invest in this thing. Then we've gone into up and up and up into corporates now buying this thing. Like low-end corporates, right? Not the best companies in the world, but slowly it's going to move up. The last rung on the ladder is China and the US settling trade balances in this thing. That could take 20, 30 years or more. But that's the opportunity, right? As it's going up the ladder all the time. But this is TLT versus gold. Look, they're using gold, right? That's what they're doing to try and renegotiate trade balances. TLT versus gold. This is US bonds versus gold here. Yeah, look. TLT is debt, it's paper, it's made up, it's a liability, it's not an asset. So paper always goes down versus assets. We all know that. See any fiat currency ever versus assets, it always goes down. So it's not a big deal, but the problem is they're using gold and not Bitcoin. So we can't get above our station. We have to know what Bitcoin is, which is still retail and kind of low-end corporate stuff right now. But the next cycle is going to be maybe mid-end or higher-end corporates maybe putting it on. People like Coinbase and Cash App already do this, right? Coinbase, don't make a big deal out of it, but I think every month or every quarter they just add a bit more. Look, if their stock outperforms because they've got this balance sheet, slowly you're going to see more companies maybe bring this on. But look, it's very, very slow. We're not in the big leagues yet. The problem is right now is that like, SOFR's blowing out. There is some funding stress around, and the Fed, they don't want to move. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to support markets, and so that's their choice. Maybe it changes in the spring, but again, we're in this transition period between policies that we think have to happen and they're not actually happening yet. This is the ISM here. You can see how weak it is. This is manufacturing, but look, this was the last bull market for crypto, right? No one's got any money, right? Most of the economy is not doing too well. So if the Fed wants to help out with this and wants to help the Trump admin with a big, expansion of GDP, then they're going to have to cut interest rates and stimulate debt creation. But they don't want to play the game here. They're cutting 25 basis points. It's not enough. It's irrelevant, right? Maybe when Hassett comes in the spring, maybe he's going to drop interest rates 50-50, right? And then you actually spark some GDP growth. But again, we're in a transition period. We're not there yet. We're trying to trade this. We're trying to trade the price of this. We can see what may happen, but it isn't happening yet. And so you're just in this transition period, this lull where Bitcoin has to just come off. Speculation comes out of it. But look, if you want Bitcoin to go up, you want GDP to go up, you have to cut rates and you have to spark this. And so, Bitcoin's done really well in this environment, to be honest, right? But if you want that real bull market, then it's going to have to go higher. And you're going to have to, this is going to be a central bank government thing. And they're not working hand in hand, right? Powell is clearly very anti-government policy. He's just going to have to wait for him to go in the spring. And that's the issue. The problem with that as well, though, is that, like Luke Roman says, if you want to bring back manufacturing in the US, bond yields are actually going to go up because there's going to have to be so much more debt creation. And more debt creation is supply and demand, right? You have an amount of currency, you have an amount of debt that has to get sold. And if more debt gets sold, that means the price has to come down and the yield goes up. And that blows out the government's position with their interest rates as well, which is already huge. So this is the issue. So at some point, if this is going to happen, if manufacturing comes back to the States, which they want to push, there has to be some form of yield curve control, right? There has to be some central bank manipulation of the currency to keep yields lower as GDP rises, and then you can debase your debt to GDP. So this is all on the horizon, not happening right now. So you can't really trade it right now. It's an issue. It's always difficult. But look, if you want to get PMIs up, then obviously you're going to have to cut rates and maybe start printing some money. And if that happens, what happens to the longer end rates as well? This is the issue. They're issuing all their debt on the short end, which potentially is also taking liquidity out of the market as well. It is an issue. Maybe the central bank has to step in, and that's not going to happen during Powell's tenure. So you're looking maybe 6, 8, 12 months ahead. And then the midterms are choppy anyway, right? So the trade is a lot more nuanced. It's not as easy as the ETFs are coming, this thing's going to go up 500%. It's a very nuanced trade, and I think a lot of people are just capitulating because they don't really know what's going to happen. It's time-based capitulation as well. I'll leave the Bybit deposit bonus down in the description and the crypto course linked down there as well. 300 videos on how to set up your portfolio for any risk that you want to take, and you can ask me questions in the Discord server as well. Links in the description. I'm James, it's MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.